including one group called Feeding the Future, that went from getting $3.4 million in 2019 to $200 million 2 years later. They grew faster than NVIDIA. How did nobody see that? Or is it that people and the government and those who are supposed to be the watchdogs, like Tim Walz, like Keith Ellison, the Attorney General, there just weren't looking?
I think it's safe to say that there was a real unwillingness or inability among Democratic state officials in Minnesota to recognize some pretty obvious alarm bells here. All across these programs, claims were skyrocketing, absolutely spiraling out of control over a short period of time. And the reality is that the Somali community, which is where these large-scale fraud rings have been concentrated within this population in the state, it is a sizable voting bloc. It is a voting bloc you have to win if you're going to win political office in Minneapolis. And so I think that was likely a incentive here that made some people not want to look too closely at what's been going on.
Somali immigrants in Minnesota have reportedly been abusing systems meant to help the most unfortunate among us, including the latest federally funded autism services. The autism fraud scheme reportedly amassed $14 million through Medicare claims for services that were never provided, involving kids who never had autism. And the Somali immigrants behind this web of schemes have allegedly stolen billions from taxpayers, much of the money going back to the Somali government, where it would then end up in the hands of terrorists. Manhattan Institute investigative reporter Ryan Thorpe was one of the first exposing the schemes for their ties to terrorism. With us now, Ryan.
He's a ban, potential block on people, so-called people, so-called third world countries. What do we know about the details?
Yeah, you're right, Tom. In usual Trump social media posts, it's kind of unclear what he's trying to say, though it's very lengthy, it's very forceful. The headline that we ran in the big focus is this idea of permanently pausing immigration from third world countries. What's very interesting about it as well is that if you read into the post, he has some even more intense plans about denaturalization, reverse migration, trying to remove people from the country. I believe he says the phrase that are incompatible with Western civilization. So in a pair of very lengthy and angry Truth Social posts quite late on Thursday night, which is a Thanksgiving holiday in the U.S., Trump has basically announced a further crackdown on immigration, which, as I'm sure you know, is a continuation of some of the very severe policies he's already pursued in his second term.
Indeed. And it seems to be a reaction, Ramsey, to the shooting in Washington earlier this week of two members of the National Guard. Is that the link? What do we know about what happened there and how that ties into this response from President Trump?
Yeah, you're right. He didn't mention it. At least I don't think he mentioned it specifically in the post. But it does come a few hours after he announced the death of one of the guardsmen, a young specialist from, I believe, Virginia. There were two shot. The suspect is an Afghan national. It's understood, or I've seen it reported, that he has been admitted under a program that was there to assist Afghans who had helped the U.S. during the occupation and were evacuated after the fall of Kabul to the Taliban in 2021. I believe there are about 190,000 Afghans that have been admitted under that program, and Trump has been very critical of it even before this, and took even harder aim at it after the shooting. He had demanded an investigation into everyone brought in, a suspension of issuing green cards. So the direction of travel on immigration had already been there, but the very tragic shooting in D.C. this week seems to have hardened his line, and is probably the trigger for the announcement he made this evening.
President Donald Trump says he is taking action to end legal immigration status for some Somalis in Minnesota. In a social media post tonight, the president says he is ending temporary protected status effective immediately. The post on Truth Social says Minnesota, under Governor Walz, is a hub of fraudulent money laundering activity and billions of dollars are missing. Temporary protected status is granted to foreign countries who meet requirements for things like ongoing wars and natural disasters that prevent citizens from returning home safely. The current protected status for the country of Somalia extends through March of next year. As of March of this year, 705 Somali nationals were covered by TPS in the entire country, according to U.S. Citizen and Immigration Services data. A 2023 fact sheet from the Immigrant Law Center said about 430 Somalis in Minnesota fall under that protection. The Council on American Islamic Relations says this change will cause some families to be separated in some cases.
There are families who are currently having their children grow up in the United States as full citizens, as born in the United States, but their parents may be holding a TPS status. That means that we'll be breaking families who have been here legally.
Minnesota Representative Ilhan Omar, the first Somali American member of Congress, said tonight, "I am a citizen, and so are a majority of Somalis in America. Good luck celebrating a policy change that really doesn't have much impact on the Somalis you love to hate. We are here to stay." We'll keep following this and, of course, share more on this breaking news as we learn it.